अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येम अक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So there is a word called apurvata. Apurvata. This is an important word to understand in the study of the Shastra. Apurvata means one which does not have anything prior to it. Purva means something before. Apurva means something that is not there before. It has never happened before. It cannot be. It's called apurvata. So in the Vedanta Shastra, this word is used to describe the pramanatvam of Vedanta. Pramanatvam means the very science of proof, because we don't really take anything seriously until we have a proof of something. This is very fundamental to life. You can imagine things, you can propose, you theorize, you can philosophize. I think I've told you this before many times, that in the language and the eyes of Swami Dayananji, he would never use philosophy to describe Vedanta. Just shy away from it, that word. Very interestingly enough, I think it's not as though he doesn't know, but I think just because of description, Swami Paramarthananda also sometimes uses the word philosophy. But I think if we look at our Guru, our common Guru, Swami Dayananji, he would never use that word. So philosophies can be there, proposals can be there, but something which is a proof alone allows us to establish our thoughts in it. Very much like, until you see something with your own eyes, eyes are the pramana for seeing, as you know very well. So similarly, all the sense organs are unique in the sense that they alone can provide you with the proof of what you are experiencing. Okay? So Vedanta Shastra also has that pramanatvam, which is apurva. Only eyes, until the eyes see it, you don't know anything. But once you see something, then you say, yes, I saw it with my own eyes, proof. Similarly, in the case of Vedanta, it has a proof of who you are, what's going on. And that is not known by any other ways. This discussion is an important one, and we'll get into it with more detail. But just to give you an overall sense of it, there are many schools of thought, for example, that say that Jagat is mithya. There's no reality to it. Okay? Almost all the schools of thought, the Sankhya system of thought. Okay. Then we can say Nyaya in all of them, including Buddhism, Jainism. They all say, Buddhism in particular, will say that the whole thing is mithya. Let's go back to Sankhya for a minute. What Sankhya does, we look upon Sankhya as a partial knowledge. It is very important to understand this point. We look upon Sankhya as a partial knowledge, not a complete knowledge. In other words, it's kind of like traversing a route to go someplace, and for a while you are both traversing together, but suddenly take a wrong turn, whereas you say, where did you go? You should have been here. But they take a wrong turn. So they have a partial success in moving towards the goal, but they didn't complete it. Sankhya is like that. What does that mean? What am I saying? Sankhya says that the world that you see is mithya. It is what is called prakriti. And you are not the prakriti. You are the sakshi. You are the purusha, not the prakriti. They also say it, and we also say the same thing. So up to this point, our journeys are parallel, or we are like having a bunch of people going in the same direction. You say, yes, yes, good, 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 and we're all headed in the right direction. Suddenly they veer off. And this point of veering off is an important one, and we'll have to discuss this. So they say that Jagat is mithya and you are the reality. So we say, okay, that's good. We agree with that. But they don't bridge the two together. That means that the end point of Sankhya is also Dvaita. And by the way, in many of the offshoots of this, in terms of Ramanuja, Vallabhacharya ji, Nimbaka all this is explained so well by Swami Akhandananda ji. They all kind of follow a little bit of that. So this Vishishta Dvaita means, yeah, it's a Dvaita, but there are two states. This is what they say. The Apurvata, going back to the word Apurvata and the relevance to what we are doing, which is Vedanta, is unique. No one else has that view. It's not as though we are proud of it and we are proclaiming, oh, we are the best. No, it's not that. But it's the truth that people do not see in any other way. What can we do? We wish there would. Wish there would be a South American country that has never been discovered, and we find out they have the same view of Vedanta as we do. Will be wonderful. No, we don't. Vedanta is just one source of which is preserved in India. What is the uniqueness of? This is an important thing to see. Why is that unique from Sankhya and Buddhism and all these other ones? It is because of Advaita. It is not that there is a mithya outside of you and you are the reality. That is just an intermediate step. The next step to that, which completes the journey, is that the Jagat as mithya also is nothing but you alone. That is what we have to see. And this is what happens in my life also, and all of that. You feel very good that I'm just the Sakshi and the world is different. Of course, this is experienced in the deep sleep. You don't even have to learn anything. Deep sleep also, the whole world disappears. And in yogic samadhi also, the world disappears. Nirvikalpa samadhi. Temporary. Comes back again. The problem is not solved. And so the uniqueness of Vedanta is not that you are just a Sakshi. You are the whole thing. The whole thing. Purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate. Purnat purnasya padaya purnam eva avashishyate. Purnam. This is the word apurvata. This is the uniqueness of the pramana of Advaita Vedanta. No one else says that. And this is proven by the Mahavakyas Tattvamasi. We will see that in more detail sometime. But this is an important thing to see. At least to see what the vision is, what is the goal. We may not see the vision as clearly, that's a different matter. But we should see how it is different from others. It is not that you are just a Sakshi, you're different from the world. That's not it. Because as long as the world is there, it will reappear in some form or the other, as it does every morning. The main thing to see is the problem is only, this is what called moksha. So the very essence of moksha is, I am the truth of the world. This is just a play in my own mind. This is what has to be seen. So this Advaita view also applies in the realm of Srishti, creation, as we have been seeing. Now I can connect it to where we are going. And so this is what we were saying, that the view of the wise people that are ready to tackle this forever, not just partially, was given by Adi Shankara in the thing that Paramarthika Chintikaha na Shishtau Adaraha. Paramarthika Chintikaha. Otherwise, Shishti Chintikaha means this is Shishti, this is that, I think it is this one, let's tackle it this way, this is the truth of it, this is when the world began. These are all Shishti Chintikaha. But the Paramarthika Chintikaha, so again in the Purushartha, Artha Kama Dharma Moksha, the Srishti Chintika are really involved in the first three, Artha Kama Dharma. But Artha Kama Dharma are Apekshika Moksha, they are relative moksha. Anytime you feel you have some security, you feel good. It doesn't last. Anytime you have some fulfillment of any kind of a desire, kama. You feel good, doesn't last. Dharma, you feel if I just keep on doing good things, I will reach heaven. Maybe my next life would be better. Or even this life also it would be better. Doesn't last. Even in the view of Vedanta, there is no such thing as a permanent heaven. Heaven is also an expanded form of vacation, like in Hawaii. That's it. Once your capital finishes, you come back. Temporary, temporary, temporary. But the Paramarthika Drishtikaha, Moksha Jnanam Drishtikaha, are the ones who do not have any adaraha for the Srishti. Adaraha means any respect for the Srishti. They don't take it seriously. Yeah, it's there, and I'll deal with it for the time being because I'm born in it, and until I completely solve it, I have to live with it. But really speaking, they don't have the adara. Then what is the adara for? It is for something which appears to have, this is the statement, Indro Maya Bhihi Pururupa Iyate. So going back to what we were doing earlier, that it is really understanding that even the expression of plurality is nothing but the emanation of the same light in multiple lights, just like kaleidoscope. You have the same light and the same thing in a movie. It's a single light, but if you just keep on moving it here and there, it appears to be moving. And so even the moving light also is nothing but the original light alone. And it's just that we are captured by the moving lights. We are captured by the thought of the outside, and we don't understand it. We don't think about it. We have never been told until Shastra tells us, hey, you are okay the way you are. Don't worry about what you see. Think about who you are, the seer. And then it proves that what you see is also nothing but you alone. It appears to be different from you, but it isn't. This is the Paramarthika Chintikaha, and given in this word, in this sentence, Indraha. Indraha means the Prakashakaha, the one who is in the form of Chetanaha, the conscious Vastu, Jnanam. Indraha. Maya bhi pururupa iyate means it is seen to be. You can see it. You can see it means to understand what's going on. It's like until you see it, until you understand it, what you see can bother you. It is like taking a 1-year-old to a scary movie. Is that wise to do? To take a 1-year-old to a movie and say, all right, he'll enjoy it. Come on, let's go. It's okay. And then there's all these Chewbacca's and very strange people. And his 1-year-old is looking at it and he says, what's going on? And the mother and father say, no, it's just it's just a movie. Don't be afraid of it. He doesn't understand what's a movie and what's not. You see something and you are exactly the same situation. My dear students, please see this. We are like a 1-year-old looking at the world. And we get scared, we get concerned, we get happy at times. And the Shastra says, no, 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 no. It's okay to enjoy it, but don't get perturbed by it. I was thinking about this the other day. I have a very interesting habit, which my two sons, because we share a lot of interest in sports. So we exchange notes about our team, 49ers, the Giants, and we follow it, the Warriors, our local team. So we all have a lot of interest, and it's fun to talk about all these kinds of things. But I have a habit which my two sons berate me for it. They say, Dad, you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan. So I said, why? Why am I not a real fan? So I have a habit which is interesting habit. If it's a very crucial match, I usually don't watch it until the game is over. If it's a casual match, I sometimes, if I'm eating or something, if I'm looking at it, that's okay. But suppose there is something like a final competition, just like it was in the basketball at the Olympics. There, I broke my own rule. I actually saw it, pretty much all of it. But generally speaking, I don't watch a very crucial match in person. You know then what I do? I look at the result, and if our team loses, I don't see it. I says, you know what? And the end is very sad. Why should I go through that? Why should I go through the become sad myself? But here's the thing. If I know that they won, then I fast forward some portions of it to see how they won. And in the process of fast forwarding the events of the team, I learn a lot because I know which of our people make a mistake. And if they were losing for a while, I'll say, oh wow, interesting that they lost for a while. Yeah, they didn't play very. I follow all of that because I'm interested. I'm sports oriented. I used to be, I was the captain of my cricket team in my college, and I used to play tennis a lot. So I'm very oriented towards sports. I also watch sports from time to time. That's the only thing I watch on television. Nothing else. No news, no nothing. Well, I do watch, for example, if nomination speeches and some important things, but other than that, I don't. Not the daily. So here's the thing I wanted to tell you. So in my habit of not seeing crucial matches in person, but to see it after I know they have won, my kids don't appreciate that. They say, you're not a real fan. But you know what? I really enjoy it. Even the pain of suffering some lapses, I go through that. You know why? Because I know they have won. So it is just temporary. This is the way we need to view our experiences in life. And even as a student that has studied the Vedantic principles, even though you haven't reached the point of becoming a Jivan Mukta, of free while you're living, and even while before that, you should know that you are okay. You are already okay. You may not completely grasp it yet. So there's a difference there. In the case of my watching sports, I know for a fact somebody, you just look at the cell phone and there's some sites that I see and it says, here's a score. And then you say, okay, we won. So then you can go back and then just enjoy it. Similarly, in Vedanta, you don't have to be scared about it, you don't have to be concerned about it, because the ultimate thing, you already are free. Then the world becomes kind of interesting. It's not as though you don't interact, you don't process the various sukha dukkha of life. It's not that. But there is an inner smile which says, I'm okay. I'm okay. This will also go away. This will pass. So this is the view of the Vedantic principles. Indra maya bhi pururupa iyate, means the whole thing is nothing but you alone, just like the whole dream is also nothing but you alone. And so that has to be initially accepted until I completely understand it. So that is what is called Sakshat Karanam. Until then, you cling on to the wisdom of Vedanta and say, okay, I don't completely get it, but I accept it. And let me now see this in greater clarity. So that brings us, as promised, to the Gayatri mantra. Okay, Gayatri mantra. So, so let's do this. This is same fact. Indra maya bhi pururupa iyate should be seen as the essence of the Gayatri mantra, which is an important mantra. It is enunciated by the Rishi Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is supposed to be, because all the mantras in the Shastra are ascribed to a Rishi, some Rishi or the other. Okay? And so the Gayatri mantra, which is an important mantra, is ascribed to Vishwamitra. So a word about rishis here is important before we go to the Gayatri mantra in a minute. So the rishis, so means rishanti janati iti rishaya, the one who know are called a rishi. So it is important to see that the rishis are not the founders of the mantras. They are not kartrakaha. Kartrakaha means the ones who did it. They say, I can, just like you can develop a poem. You say, I'm the poet that developed this poem. No, it's not like that. In fact, the mantras are also there as a seed form, as part of the whole you can call it creation or non-creation, the very substance of the whole world, which is the very nature of Ishvara. It's the bija rupa, the seed rupa is already there. Here Swami Viditatmananda had given this very beautiful example. From a number of years, I remember this so well. So it's not a perfect example, but a good, very good example. What he said was, listen, at this right here in all the major metropolitan areas and even in rural areas, there is a lot of electromagnetic waves already present in the Akasha. So this is what is called Akasha, means in the ether, in the space. It is the holder of sound and energy, right? So this is interesting to see because if you look at the five basic Pancha Mahabhutas, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. The question is, where does electromagnetic waves and the sounds that they create, where are they located out of these five of them? Are they in the Prithvi? No, we don't see sound. Prithvi has some kind of a humming sound, but it's not its own, it's borrowed from others. Is it in the water? No. Is it in the fire? No. Is it in the air? No. But it is there, so it has to be ascribed to somebody. It is there in the Akasha. The Akasha, as we have discussed it many, many times, is not just a background space like some of the scientists used to believe until then. The wisdom from various scientists developed it further. But in the Newtonian science, space was just a stage. It had nothing to offer. You cannot be, this is totally wrong. And so magnetics, electromagnetic waves. Anyway, coming back to Swami Viditatmananda's saying that in the Akasha you have a number of things going on, but they're not visible to you. They're not visible. They're not expressible until you have the right instrument to tune in. So this is why you can have FM radio. You have an FM radio that can only capture FM signals. If you have an AM radio, it can only capture AM signals. You have one that has both of them, like that. So the truth of the mantras is always there. It's not as though it disappears and comes back or something like this. It's always there. But from time to time, the right instruments in the form of highly sophisticated minds, very mature minds, who are not interested in the trivial aspects of the world, are able to see it, capture it. These are the people who are called rishis. So, there's words like rishi and muni. Munis are not rishis. Munis are the ones who have heard the things from rishi and have the ability to. So we are partial munihi. Why? Because we have the ability to grasp some of it and then we are moving towards the right direction. So we are munis of various kind, but we're not rishis. But the rishis are the ones who see the essence of it in certain forms. And these are so many different forms. And they express it. So, for example, in the case of Gayatri mantra, Vishwamitra is the rishi. And he expresses that in the Gayatri Mantra, which you all know pretty much. But let's look at the Gayatri Mantra from the standpoint of what we are studying. That's all I wanted to do. Okay, so connect it. So in the Gayatri Mantra, as you know how the Gayatri Mantra goes. And by the way, it is important to chant it accurately. I cringe when I go to many of these parties and so on and so forth, where even there is a puja and the people chant it and don't chant it properly. It has to be done with swaras. That's the true one. You can do anything you want to, but if you really want to get to the essence of it, it's to be chanted properly. Yes, as you know, Om, which is not part of the Gayatri Mantra, but is chanted in the very beginning. Om Bhuvaswaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayate. This is the Gayatri Mantra. So, the traditional common meaning of Gayatri Mantra, and if you go to Wikipedia, you will see so many interpretations of it through every Mahat, every Rishi, all these Swamis, they have their own understanding of it and so on. They all differ from each other. But generally speaking, the traditional meaning of it means is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam, etc. We meditate on that most adorable Lord, the Creator, whose light illumines all the realms, physical, mental, and spiritual. May this light illumine and guide my intellect. This is the traditional meaning. It's the right meaning, not right meaning. But let's get into a little depth on it. Okay. So first of all, just to, since we are doing it, we might as well just do a little bit of a word explanation. So, Bhur Bhuva Swaha. These are what is called Vyahriti. So again, it gets technical and it takes a long time. In fact, I remember teaching a 3-class segment on the Gayatri Mantra pretty early on, I would say probably around 2004, 20 years ago. Probably still there in the audio form, not in the video form. But it took 3 classes to go through all of it. I remember I did a lot of research on my own. So Bhur Bhuva Swaha is what is called Vyahriti. A very technical word. Vyahriti means an Ucharanam, bringing to a sound the basic principles of, either you can say from the Adi Bhautika, from the standpoint of things. You can say Bhuhu is the earth, Bhuvaha is the intermediate space, and Swaha is heavens. Means the entire creation in that sense. From what we see right in front of us, what we can visualize, and one which is non-visualizable and has to be told by someone. Bhur Bhuva Swaha. And the same thing can also apply to, you can say, the physical, the Sthula Sharira, mental, Sukshma Sharira. So Bhuhu is Sthula Sharira, Bhuvaha is Sukshma Sharira, and Swaha means knowledge. What is behind all of them? You can take it like that. It's spiritual knowledge. Physical, mental, and spiritual knowledge. Okay, we've gone those through these. Tat savituhu varenyam. Varenyam means one that is praiseworthy, which is worth, which is adorable, adored, one which is worth following, something which is real and substantial, not just flighty. Varenyam. Savituhu devasya. Savitu devasya means the one. Devaha means one who is effulgent, one who is full of jnanam, chetana vastu. That is, it comes from div. Div means to shine. And to shine means self-shining. You don't shine as a result of something else. This is why it's not a moon. It is the Surya. The Surya is the symbol of effulgence because it is self-shining. It shines by itself and it shines, it throws the light to others. Called Surya. So Devasya. So Savituhu. Savita means the one who is who's self-shining. Has other meanings also. Again, I won't go into the details. But here the right meaning is we pray and request the Devaha, which is Savitra Devadaha. And also, this word Bharga will come a little bit later on, so I'm going to not talk about this minute. I'll touch on this later. Dhimahi. Dhimahi means may. So this is a plural. It's not a singular verb. It's a plural verb, means may we meditate on. May we focus on. And what do we focus? We focus on the Savituhu, which is Devaha, and who is the wielder of Bhuva Swaha, and we request something from them. When we pray, we also are requesting. Yaha naha dhiyaha prachodayat. May that Deva help my mind be directed in the right direction. Naha dhiyaha, our minds. So naha is also plural. May our minds be focused, may it be directed in the right direction. May my thoughts be good. So this is the normal meaning and a good meaning. So now again, if I reread the composed sentence, it is, we meditate on that most adored Lord, the Creator whose light illumines all realms, namely physical, mental, and spiritual. May this light illumine and guide our intellects, our minds. This is the meaning. Right? Okay. Now let's go a little bit deeper into it. So, this discussion occurs in this third volume, a 3-volume set by Swami Akhandananda. And I'm almost to the end of the last one. I may revise it again. This is so beautiful, called Brahma Sutra Bhashya, of the 4 sutras. And this also he has talked about this in audio, and the audio is still available on the internet. You can do that. But I find that the audios are very well captured in this text. And so I'm going through this. And at the very, very end of it, he's explaining the meaning of Tattvamasi and all the Mahavakyas and how they are different from others, how they are effective, and so on. In this one section, he talks about the Rishi Vamadeva. Vamadeva is a Rishi. Like Vyasa is a Rishi. Very few Rishis. There are lots of Munis, but very few Rishis. Vamadeva is one of them. Vamadeva expresses his happiness once he sees the truth of what Vedanta is saying. And his enunciation, I'm just giving you the background to this. And by the way, this is given in the Shankara Bhashya, Moola Bhashya. Let me, I hope I have enough time to finish this. I think I will. So in the Moola Bhashya, so what Swami Akhandananda is doing is so beautiful, I tell you. Distinction between upasana and jnanam, karma, what others think, and what is the apurvata. All this is just so beautifully captured. So here in the Moola Bhashya, it says, Tatha Tada aitat pashyan rishihi Vamadevaha pratipehe aham manuhu abhavam suryascha. Iti, this is the quotation that we will study in a minute. Iti brahmadarshana sarvatma bhavayoho madhye kartavyantara varanaya udaharyam. Beautiful. So the explanation of this is, the reason this is being taken up here is, this is a slightly different topic, but I'll just mention it briefly, that after Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, nothing needs to be done. That is you get freedom the moment you understand it. So the reason why this is being said this way is that there is a lot of people who don't see this way. And so Ramanuja is one, Vallabhacharya is another one, Nimbakacharya, so many of them. This is within the Vedic view. Forget about the non-Vedic view like Buddhism, Jainism, and so on, Christianity, Islam. Just within the Vedic view also they say that you first see this, you know this, after that you have to do some meditation. Adi Shankara, this Sampradaya says, no. After you're free, nothing needs to be done, you are done. This is what he's saying, Brahma Darshana Sarvatma Bhava Yoho Madhye. Between Brahma Darshanam and Sarvatmatvam, in the middle of that, in Madhye, Kartavyantara Varanaya Udaharyam. There's nothing needs to be done. This is the Udaharanam, means the example. Anyway, I'm just giving you all this background. So he says, Aham Manuhu Abhavam Suryascha. So the main thing that we are following is the enunciation by the Rishi Vamadeva, which says, Etat tat pashyan Rishi Vamadeva pratipede aham manuhu abhavam suryascha. So after understanding this, so this is the symbol of Advaita understanding. Advaita understanding. How? Aham manaha. Aham manuhu. He says manuhu. I'll explain that in a minute. Explain aham manuhu abhavam. My goodness, I am the manuhu and I am the Surya. So he says, so the manuhu here means manana shila, means thoughts. I am the thoughts. How is that different from us? Because you know this by now, and we will do this until we all get it very clearly. The world, our experiences are in the form of our thoughts. Remember the statement that we had made some time ago that Jagat is Bhavarupa, na Vasturupa. Ultimately, everything is a Vasturupa, that's a separate thing. But for now, or the way our daily experience is from morning to evening, Bhavarupa. So this is why it is said, your mind is not in your body as we think. This is all a offshoot of wrong thinking that I am parichannaha, I am a very limited person. That's the very seed of our wrong thinking. As a result of the seed of the wrong thinking, the thinking is I am a deha swarupa, and in my body there is the ability to think. So thinking is just a quality of my body. Brain, this is why all the work is done on the brain. How do thoughts occur? How does Alzheimer's occur? When do people faint? All these kinds of things. It's all contained in the body. This is our thinking. The fact of the matter is the body is contained in our thoughts. Because my estimation of who I am, which is a body, is also part of my thought process. Others are bodies, I am a body, vasanas, it's all thoughts. You know, it's interesting, this is something to see. If it was not thoughts, see, supposing my body was not thoughts, was not a thought, not thoughts, but not a thought. Thought means I am the body. If the body was not a thought, do you know what will happen? Just think about this, it's important. If it was not thoughts, you will never transition from a waking state to a dream state. Very beautiful thing to see. If I'm so solid, if I'm really the solid body, rather than a concept of the body, I will never have this experience of dream where the entire waking body disappears. I come up with some new body. Other bodies also disappear. And you know how? Because it's in the form of thoughts alone. Everything is just thoughts, 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 thoughts. As we saw in the Shiva Sankalpa Sutta, Yat Jagrato, all of that description applies here. It's the whole thing is nothing but an amazing movie, my thoughts. And so this is what is called Manuhu, Mananashila, Manuhu. And so Vamadeva says, I am the Manu. All these thoughts, I am eliminating them. Here, one thing that I'd like to mention, this is also something that I had not thought about until Swami Vikhandananda pointed this out. Very beautiful thing. One of those statements that you can just put aside, write it down and think about it. He said, there is a difference between a Sakshi and Prakashakaha. Difference between Sakshi and Prakashaka, even though the meaning of the two words is about the same. Sakshi also means one who is a witness. And Prakashaka means one who lights up. This is a very important thing to see. It says that even just the thinking that I am a Sakshi, you know, this whole thing about Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. This is also an expression of I am just a Sakshi. This Shivoham, etc., it is good to quieten your mind, but this is not the ultimate truth. It's not an expression of Advaita. Why? Because it says I am the Sakshi. Shivoham means I am pure. It's not wrong, but it's not complete. That's all. Because I'm saying that, so there is saying there's a difference between Sakshi and Prakashaka. Sakshi means I'm just the seer. This is the Sankhya view. I'm the seer, I'm the seer, I'm the seer. How long are you going to say I'm the seer? In the end, you will come back to say, I'm just the body, I'm just the body, I'm just the body. Doesn't solve the problem. Prakashaka is different. Again, this is, I'm cramming a lot of things into this, but and we'll have to explain this in more detail later. But just to give you an idea, Prakashaka means I am the light which is lighting up my thoughts. So this is where Vamadeva's understanding comes in. Aham manuhu abhavam suryascha. I am not only am I just the Sakshi, but I'm also the light which is lighting up my thoughts, means I'm lighting up the world. And one implication of that is that the world is not possible without my light. Oh, and in fact, it's interesting, the difference between aham na sakshi eva. I'm not just the sakshi, I am prakashakaha, also brings in aham adhisthana. I am not just the light, but I am the basis on which all these thoughts are occurring. The thoughts are occurring out of me. So this is an important statement. We'll go back to it. So I'm a prakashaka. So here Vamadeva says, I am both Manuhu as well as the Surya. It means Indraha Mayabhi Pururupa Iyate. I am that Indra. That's the Adhyatmika view of Indra, not the Adi Daivika view of Indra. It is the Adhyatmika view of Indra, that I am the. This is the final analysis. As we said, in this section alone, there is that statement I was talking about, the Piti statement, is that Ishvara has the same Ishvara person has two appearances, two names, just like the same woman is both a mother as well as a daughter. And the name are different, the functions are different, the appearances are different, the same person. Similarly, Ishvara is Ajnata Atma is called Ishvara. Jnata Atma becomes, Ishvara's name is Atma. Same in the same one. So this is the unity, this is the Advaita view of the Vamadeva, and it is the Advaita view, the Advaita meaning of Gayatri Mantra. How? So he says in the Gayatri Mantra, again let's revisit it and look at it in this view. Tat savituhu bhargaha devasya. So let me explain the word bharga. Bharga is a very interesting word. Here Swami explains it. He says, this is given on 375 of this book. I don't know if any one of you have this. You should read. Those that are Hindi speaking really must get this book. It's an amazing book. It's even more advanced than the Mandukya Karika. It's an amazing book. Anyway, in this book he says, Bharjanat Bharga. Bharjanat Bharga means one that mashes, emasculates, which makes it disappear, is called Bharga. And that is, Bharga means it emasculates the feeling that there is duality. And it's kind of like it reduces the various changes into something which is changeless. This is the meaning of Bharga. Anyway, going back to the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, Tat savituhu varenyam bharga devasya dhimahi dhiyaha naha prachodayat. He says, my appreciation to that Deva who is lighting up my dhiyaha. Same thing, Manuhu Abhavam Suryascha. This is the beauty of understanding Gayatri Mantra, that I focus on the non-duality, because my dhiyaha is also just Suryaha. It is not different from the original light. Suryaha represents not the Adi Daivika but Adhyatmika, because conscious jnanam that I am even transcends the sun. Because the sun can only light up some things, but I am the natural light that never disappears. This has to be appreciated. So that light is also Prakashakaha. It is the Adhisthanaha and Prakashakaha, all of my minds, all of my thoughts, and therefore the entire world. I am aparichinnaha, natu parichinnaha. This is the meaning. And so the real, the Gayatri Mantra is a prayer. It's a prayer. I have a habit of doing this several times a day. But it's a prayer saying, may my mind, may you please direct my mind to see the non-duality about myself. This is what has to be seen. So it's not as though you are just praying to Ishvara, you are the creator of all this and so on, and please help me. But it is to invoke the presence of Ishvara in myself, to say, may I not be stupid enough to be involved with trivial things. May I be directed towards something that sees the moksha karakaha, which is Advaita Jnanam, where the original light, Indraha, Maya Bhihi Pururupa Iyate. So in that sense, the Gayatri Mantra is a beautiful encapsulated mantra that we can both chant as well as to see the meaning of it as the eventual promise and the pramanatvam, the very proof of Advaita. Anyway, I thought that I happened to read this section in my study, and it so much mirrors what we were doing with the study of the Srishti that I thought I would bring in. If you allow me a few more minutes, let me just give you one more aspect of this. So, first of all, the mantras are also, as I mentioned already, this is already mentioned, is apaurushaya vastu. So the mantras are not, so this is the rishis are not the kartas of the Rishi. It's already there. They only, so how have we done that? So the main thing is that the Jnana Swarupa that I am is also Apurusha. Apaurusha means non-human. I'm already there. It's not as though I experienced it and then I expressed it. I'm already there, and if I'm capable, I can understand it. That's all. So the mantras are also Apurushaya. Anyway, that's a separate one. Now the thing I wanted to mention is that Manuhu and Surya are like the son or the daughter. You would just say it's not gender related, but it's an offspring, and the father or the mother, either one. Okay? It's the offspring and the parent. That's what it represents. How? Because this is also a very beautiful thing to note down and think about at some point. That the Atma is neither the father nor the mother nor the son nor the daughter. Because the very concept of mother or the father only comes in the expression, but in the seed form, in the very basis, the adhisthana, there is no father, no mother. This is a very important thing to see. We will see this, we've already been seeing it, so nothing brand new. The dream sequence is a very good example of that. In the dream sequence, there is no real father, not a real son. In fact, remember I was telling you last week about my very good memory of this dream that I had several years back where I saw my dad. In that dream, in this example, I am the father because my father is none other than me. It's a dream father, and I'm also the dream son. I'm the seer as well as the seen. Really good, great experience for me. Because I remember this so well in the dream when I was just telling you. I was thinking, this is a very funny time for my dad to come visit me. He knocked on the door and I opened it and I saw my dad. And he was wearing this dressing gown. And I looked up and down and I said, what are you doing in the dressing gown? So I have my own thoughts, my opinion. And there is somebody that I am opinionated about. Both of them are me, you know. So here also, the Atma, Parameshwara here, is neither the father nor the son. He's both. And in fact, Swami Akhandananda points this out in sorry. I lost my place. It's in 374. Yeah. So here, by the way, the Manuhu, the original person who gives birth to all the people, this is also called Manuhu, is supposed to be the son of the Surya Devata. Okay? Vivaswat. Vivaswat means the Surya. Vaivasyata. Vaivasya means the Manuhu. And so he quotes this, Swami Vivekananda quotes this Gita verse, which is chapter 4, first verse of the fourth chapter. If you go back, you'll see this. Imam vivasyate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivaswan manave praha manuhu ikshvaka babravit. So he talks about this. He says, this Vidya was given to Manu by Vivaswan. Vivaswan means the Surya. He taught it to his son. He was say that. So the context here is very interesting because his Shishya Arjuna says, wait a second. You are telling me all this. How do you know about Surya and Manuhu and all those kinds of? This is all given in the fourth chapter. So he says, my dear, we have had many births. You and I both have had many births. I know I'm never born. You think you are born again and again. So don't tell me about this old stuff. At that time, it was new to me. So I am very correct in pointing this out. So there also it is said that I am neither the Manuhu nor the Surya. I am both of them. And this is what we say in our prarthana. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. So none of these differences were there in you except when the expression of Jagrata Avastha comes up. So you are neither the father nor the son. This is also a very important thing to see. We will see that later on sometime. Where was this? I don't know. We will see. That there is neither a karana nor a karya in Atma. Again, the example of the dream is very important because in the dream, it's just a make-believe. And even in this Jagrata Avastha, eventually we will see it is just a make-believe. We make it into a cause and effect. I might have a father, I have a son, and all those kinds of things. But that's just my own thinking. In reality, I am not Karana nor Karya. So that's also another aspect of understanding the Gayatri Mantra meaning. That you are both Surya and Dhiyaha. That means you are neither of them. You are both a big wave and a small wave, but you are not a wave. You are the very water that is the very adhisthana of the waves. Anyway, so I still have one more thing to do about the verse number 7 that I'll do next time, which is the second line of the verse. But other than that, we're done with it. But anyway, I think to bring it out to the Gayatri Mantra, I just thought I would include that. So with that, let me close the class today. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Jagrata Avastha. Very nice to have you all. Wonderful. Don't see any questions per se, but I'm happy that you attended the class. Great. We'll see you next week. Hari Om.